Welcome to the 8th tutorial on Theme A. We will be looking at why human rights should be limited and the threat of terrorism. Propaganda is information which might be biased or misleading, used to promote a political cause or point of view. Human rights help people to live a fair life. They tell us that people should not be treated badly or prevented from doing the things that everyone sees as a normal part of decent life. However, there are some occasions when these freedoms might be limited for everyone's good. For example, the Equality Act limits freedoms to make sure that everyone is protected from discrimination. People have freedom of speech, but the Equality Act means that people are not allowed to say racist or homophobic things. This is a good thing and a good use of limiting freedoms. There are also laws about slander and libel, which stops people from saying things that aren't true about others. Famous people often don't want stories and pictures in the media. Sometimes it is argued that they are looking for publicity when they have a new song or a new film out, so they should accept the stories that are printed about them. Prince William asked for privacy from the press when his children were playing. Is this different from other celebrities, because the royal family doesn't look for publicity? All our lives have been changed by the threat of terrorism. For example, a holiday abroad means careful checks of both us and our baggage. There are more serious challenges to human rights in the government's plans to prevent terrorism. People can be detained without knowing why, and without trial. People can be prevented from making statements that are inflammatory but do not threaten violence. Schools, universities and other public bodies are expected to report people who they think might be a threat. Governments are always under pressure to keep us safe, which will at times affect our human rights. Sometimes it may be wise to limit people's human rights, but it is important to find a fair balance between the fair treatment of the individual and the safety of the community as a whole. How many reasons can you think of for why human rights should or could be limited? Here are some examples of reasons to limit human rights. The protection of the reputation or rights of others, the interests of national security, the interests of public safety, the economic well-being of the country, and maintaining the authority and impartiality of the justice system. In the exam you might be asked to explain how the threat of terrorism limits our freedom, or describe examples of the reasons for limiting human rights.
We go together like ram ram ram, ding 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 dong, remember forever as you